Hey, what's up everybody? This is Brandon from the Old School Game Vault today, and what we're going to do is we're going to show you a few tricks of the trade to clean some of your old cartridge-based video games. Today we have just an NES game and a Super NES games. These are just examples. You can use these methods on any cartridge-based game that you have. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you a few tricks here. What I like to call this is my ultimate trick. This right here is a little game bit opener. I got it online, I don't know, a couple dollars. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the inside of the video game cartridge. Right here I got a Super NES, but if you see in the back of the NES there's some slots, and this little game bit opener fits right in, unscrews the screw, and you can open it up. I like to do this because I can polish the cartridges and make sure these games work like new. So what we're going to do is you take your little game bit opener and you undo the screws on each side with your little opener. You're going to pop your Super NES game open. Then you're going to be left with your board. And what we want to do is we're going to rub our pencil eraser on the little gold contacts here, top and bottom. Now what that's going to do, it's going to erase, well, I guess it's going to erase any carbon, any gunk, grime over the years on these pin connectors. So what we're going to do is just rub it, then I'll just kind of wipe it off with my hand. You can use a polishing cloth or paper towel, whatever you have. And that's going to get your grime off those games, and it's going to make it work. Like I said, this is pretty much my ultimate trick that I like to use when all else fails, or if I have some rare games, I like to, keep them nice and neat. The second trick we're going to show you is, like I said before, you can use this in other cartridge-based games, but I like to use a little bit of sandpaper. Now, some of you may frown at this, but I found it works out pretty well. I take a little piece of, this is 220 grit sandpaper, I cut it into a small square. What I'm going to do is take the sandpaper and just rub it on my contacts on my game. Top and bottom. I blow it out. That's going to help clean all the grime off the inside of those contacts. It's going to get them nice and shiny so you can play it. I use this method if I have to test like a bunch of games in a day, or if I have like, a big stack of, like, say, Atari games, for example. This sandpaper method works very well for that. I also find it works well for consoles. If you have a N64 console, Super NES console, it's giving you a little troubles, just slide in a little sandpaper into the pins. You can rub it real nicely. We're not going to, rub the heck out of it, but that could definitely help you out. I've had great success in some old consoles just using sandpaper. Atari, ColecoVision, what have you. So that's tried and true tip number 2. Then what I like to do after I sandpaper, now this is pretty much a common trick for a lot of people, is I like to use a little rubbing alcohol here and a couple Q-tips. You can use this as trick step 3, or what I like to do is after I rub my games with the eraser, or the sandpaper, excuse me, I'll go in and just clean anything off from the inside of the game. This is a great way just to clean the inside of the game, get any dust, debris, dirt, grime off the inside of your cartridges. So that's tip 3. Use a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That works, but but I like the sandpaper first method. And then what we're going to show you is, we're going to show you our last trick. There's a little Wyman's glass cooktop cleaner. I can't take credit for this. I saw this on a YouTube video a few years back. But it works. It's a little messier and it takes a little bit more time. But I'll kind of give you a little rundown how we're going to do that. What you want to do is put a little of your Wyman's on a little tab of paper right here. It just squirts out and the stuff's white. And take your little Q-tip and you're going to rub it on your contacts here. Now if you got a lot of gunk on there, I mean, you can, put on a good layer of the stuff. Top and bottom. This one's pretty clean, so we're not going to do it that much. And what we're going to need to do is you're going to need to let it dry. So I have a game that's somewhat dry. You can see it kind of just dries up on its own. Once it dries up, give it a couple minutes. Then you're going to want to take a paper towel and you're going to want to rub all the Wyman's off. And when you rub the Wyman's off, it's going to take a lot of the dirt and grime away with it. Now you got to kind of rub it pretty good because the Wyman kind of gets a little messy, like I mentioned. But if you take your time and you get it off, it's really going to shine up those pin connectors. And I'll give it just a little erase with my eraser, just to kind of make sure I get it all out of there. And that's a pretty good trick right there. It just takes a little bit more time. But you can see those contacts, boy, they're shiny. And I use this method, this is Conker's Bad Fur Day. I use these methods on a lot of games, but generally the eraser, the Wyman's, works very well for the rare games. You're not going to damage it, and it's going to clean them off really well. So those are a few tricks from the old school Game Vault. If you like my video, subscribe to my channel. I do a weekly video game news every week, so you can stay up to date with current gaming news. And I do a bunch of old how-to videos and whatnot. So if you like my channel, give me a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. This is Brandon again from the old school Game Vault. Take care, everybody.